Good evening. Welcome back to Crochet with Lulu and Friends in Lululand, in the land of Lulu. It is Wednesday afternoon. It's a little after 6 p.m. and we have had gorgeous, gorgeous weather the last few days. The sunsets have been beautiful. Most every evening we've had such a beautiful sunset. Excuse me, I had to swallow. I've had allergies. I didn't know if I was going to cough, sneeze, or swallow. Oh, what have you all been working on and what have you been up to? Have you been on any trips? Have you got to go anywhere exciting? I was so excited. Saturday, I got taken out to dinner. My son and his girlfriend took me out to dinner with her family, and we ate at Logan's. That was fun. I had not been in Logan's in probably 3 years. It's been about 3 years. And then I got to go shopping. My son got me a Belk's gift card back. We think it's been at least 3 years ago. I have not been to Belk's in probably 6, 7 years to shop. And so I was so excited. I went in, I found me a pair of shoes and 3 blouses. I was so excited, but my knees gave out and I had to hobble back to the car very quickly, which is not fast for me. When I say quick, imagine a turtle, that's me. But I got back to the car and I let them go and do their shopping, and I was this close to Hobby Lobby. Not that close, but I was so close to Hobby Lobby. But I knew by the time I got in there and looked through the yarns and found what I wanted, they closed early. And it was already, I think it was already then going on like 7:30-ish, a little after 7:30. So I knew they'd be closing, and I thought, I'm not going to be rushed, because when I go in Hobby Lobby, I'm going to want to do a video. I'm going to be wanting to look at all the yarn. I want to squish the yarn. I want to feel the yarn. I want to smell the yarn and all those things. And so I thought, I don't have time. And I'm not going to go in there and them call the law on me because I'm still in the store when they're trying to close. So I behaved and I went on to the car and let them do what they needed to do. But it was so much fun. I enjoyed it. The sunset that evening was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I'm sitting here holding a hook in my hand because I have some makes to show you. I don't have anything finished to show you. I have some thoughts. Does that count? I started working on a vest, and this was going to be a vest for my son for Christmas. But the more I got the one side done, I don't know that he's going to like this color. The back color is beautiful. It's called, I'll find it in a minute. It is Yarn Bee Simply Flawless, and it's the color Gunmetal. Now, a note to self in future Luann Bill. There's 420 yards of gunmetal. And that was awesome. That was awesome. I got the whole back panel done, and I have this much left. So Luann being Luann, the Lulu, I grabbed some more Hobby Lobby yarn because I'm thinking, oh, that I still had that much left of a skein, so I'll be able to finish the whole front, and I'll still have some, and then maybe I can find something that's compatible to go around and do the ribbing and do the rest of the the border and sew up the arm places and all that. note 420 yards. So I grab this skein. I love this yarn, which I do. You know, I love Hobby Lobby. 252 yards. So I used this much, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough to finish the other side. But as I said, I don't think he's gonna like this color combination. But I'm gonna show you what I did finish, and I was proud that I was able to do this much of this vest. Now, what I need is to find another couple of skeins of this gunmetal. And I think he'll be more pleased with just the gunmetal because he loves wearing vest. But I started this side, and I'm that far on that side. But I absolutely love, and this is a crystal bag-o-day pattern. So, note to self, note to the future Lulu. When looking at yarns, make sure you read how much is in the skein. That's my first note to self of many. But this hook goes with that because that will let me know that I need to use that hook for future purposes with that vest. So that was going to be a gift for my son for Christmas. I may just kind of hold the vest up and say, do you like these colors? What do you... But then, you know, he's probably going to know because with his girlfriend leading up to the giving of the poncho, I would have her try it on. What do you think? Do you think this is too long, or do you think it's just about right, or how much further do you think I should go on this? And what do you think of all the colors? And then she laughed later. She said, you were fibbing. So in a sense I was, because I told her it was for a friend, and she is my friend. So I wasn't fibbing on that, but I was telling her she was being misled, that it was for somebody else. So I've got to think more strategy how I'm going to present. So I think for now the vest is on hold until I find some more of the gunmetal. I've not called Hobby Lobby to see if they have any more. I'm gonna have to call them and see if they have another of that. So this morning, I wake up all hours of the night. So I took 2 ibuprofen last night for my knee pain, and I slept really decent. So this morning around 4:30-ish, 4:45-ish, somewhere closer to 5, I woke up and I was panicked. You know, we're just a little over a month away from Christmas. Luann doesn't have anything completely finished except a few Christmas ornaments and some lob-lollied beanies, as I call it. So I was panicked. Well, I got to remembering the scarf that I had started for my son. And it's down in this tote, and I can't pull it out without making a scene. I make enough scenes. So I came up with the brainstorm. The scarf that I started him was in the colorway Color by Numbers. And it's the Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel. And I love this yarn. Well, you know, I love Hobby Lobby. say it all the time. Hobby Lobby is my favorite yarn. Care Simply Soft is winning me over to loving Care Simply Soft. But I'm not a big fan of the other yarns. I'm just not. I don't like the texture. I don't like how it doesn't drape well. It doesn't look well. So anyways, I have the Go-Go Cocoa, which is this colors. And then I have the Color by Numbers, which has the green. This has the cocoa color. And it kind of has the same colors. So, I have several, I think several of these. And then I've used one and almost another one of the Color by Numbers on the scarf, which the scarf is too wide, and this is just a little stiffer than this yarn. The Hobby Lobby, I love this yarn. This is a real squishy kind. This is squishy enough, but in a scarf, it just wasn't, I made it too wide. I made it 45 double crochets wide, which is way too wide for this yarn. Now, had it been made with a softer, flimsier yarn, it would have been okay because it could have been folded over. So my thought process was this early morning that I was so abruptly woken by the fear of we're close to Christmas and I don't have his gift done. I am going to make him a blanket. And I think these colors are so pretty to use. The sugar wheel, in which they usually don't have a thing on the sugar wheel. Now on some of the other yarns, they do have, you know, somewhat of a picture of what it will work up into if you make a blanket or an afghan. This one just shows how it does in that sense. And I love this, but it's a thick yarn. So I may use this as a border, like single crochets, just to give it some more texture and stiffness on the edges. But I have plenty of this other. So I think, like I said, well, here we go. I have this much left over of this scarf. Now, you all have been shown this scarf until I'm sure you're sick of this scarf. And I had made a lot of progress in this scarf. But this is one whole cake, and then this much is left of the second cake. So, like I said, what I think I'm going to do, instead of actually raveling the scarf back, I'm just going to start a blanket, and then when I need this, I'll just hook this on from the inside, from the center pull, and then just use this and then use this. I really love this, but it was just too wide for a scarf, and I didn't know if he would enjoy wearing this. And I made him a scarf for his birthday out of this and another color, and I don't remember what colorway I used. I've got it written down. I've got a book in the box that he made me. So, I mean, if I need to, I can always add this in with it. I'd made him a beanie out of this, and then I've made him, I incorporated this in a scarf. So I have this whole new skein of this. So I've got quite a bit of yarn that I can use for his blanket. So that's my thought process. That's my thought process on his. Because I was panicked. I was really panicked, but I don't think, I have yarn in my mouth, excuse me. I don't think it's going to be that difficult because I'm just going to do the straight granny squares, the granny clusters, I mean. I'll probably start off with the granny square and then go from there. Now, the other things I have started for Christmas is I started my son's girlfriend's son a little 8-pointed star blanket. Now this is how far I got today. I've got 12 rows. This is a Crystal Bag O' Day 8-pointed star square blanket. Now she done, I believe she said 40 something rows. I don't think I wrote that down. But she done, I believe she said 40 something rows. I don't think for him I'll have to do that many, especially with this yarn, because this is such a thick, this is the blue is a different yarn, and it's over there in the bag. It's a different, it's an old yarn. It was bought at TG&Y. I didn't even know they sold yarn. But this is how far I've got, 12 rows. So I don't think I'll have to go to 40 something rows. Probably 30, maybe 35 rows. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna, I'll just keep looking at it. I'm gonna incorporate these two colors and then some red for his blanket. Then for her Nana and her grandpa, I done real good with that one. I'm sewing the ends in as I go. The beginning tail and the ending tail, I'm sewing that in after I finish the rows. So that one is okay. This one I still have tails to weave in. This is, and it's a little loblolly because I've pulled it out so much this afternoon. This is the rectangle, some calls it the block stitch square, granny square, and some call it the modern granny square. So for those of you that are not familiar, I know most of you are familiar with it, but you do a skinny row, which is, you do your row of granny clusters, and then your next row, I call it the skinny row. You do a single crochet, chain 3, skip over, and go into the next space and do single crochet, and that's your whole row all the way around. So they like, her Nana likes peach and seafoam green. Let me see if I can straighten this out. That was driving me up the wall. So her papa was in the military, and I have this camouflage, which is not an overbearing, some camouflage is just like real, it's kind of in your face camouflage. This is not, and I've used it before, I think, and I don't remember now what I used it in. Some beanies. And I loved the way that it looked. And this is just absolutely gorgeous. The green matches this green. So I thought that was so pretty. And then I found this darker, little bit darker green than this. And I thought I'm going to incorporate several rows. So now what I'm doing, instead of the skinny row and the granny cluster row, is I'm just doing straight granny clusters, because it was taking me forever to get this far. I've worked 2 or 3 different days, and I've just got this far. Now, when you're doing this, those of you that are familiar with doing the rectangle, you know better. that I wasn't real smart whenever I was working this up, and I've left this it's too open. So what I can do whenever I get finished is I'll just kind of close that with a little bit of the peach and get that closed up. But that's what I've got started this week. I think what I'm going to do tonight is put those aside and then start on his blanket. I've not decided yet all the other things that I'm going to do, but I know for her daughter, I'm pretty much, Crystal does a dragonfly blanket, and she starts you off and then she tells you, you know, how to keep it going. So what I think I'm going to do is, instead of doing the whole blanket in the dragonflies, I'm just going to do it around the center. You start kind of like you're doing a square, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, of course. So I think I'm going to start it off and maybe do the middle in the dragonflies, and then stop and just do regular stitches. Then when I get maybe this far from being done, then I'll make maybe a whole section of the dragonflies again. Or I may just do, something else. I don't really know yet. But I think that's what I'm going to do for her daughter, is do her a light blanket with the dragonfly. And then her other grandmother, I think, I haven't decided if I'm going to do a light blanket, but I'll probably do another light blanket for her. I don't know what they've got in the floor. Now I'm going to have to figure it out, what they have found. It's been one of those days with 5 where you just really wanted to scream because somebody gets into things she shouldn't get into, and then she does a disappearing act. I don't know if I mentioned it at the beginning. I was out of breath. I've tried probably 7 videos this afternoon. Yeah, I've tried probably at least 7. So this video, if I didn't mention it on the first, and if I have, forgive me. I was out of breath because she done a disappearing act when I took her off the leash. She's, we think 11 or 12. And I don't like her being, because the traffic for number 1. And she's not used to traffic. We lived in a neighborhood where we lived in a cul-de-sac, and so everybody knew her and they just send her home if she got away from me. Here, you know, you got this main road, and then you got a main road just two doors down. There's convenient markets, you know, and all sorts of things. There's a river at the back of our lot over the hill, and she goes down there. So this morning, she's already come home at some point with a tick on her. It was a good sized tick. So to pull that off, get rid of that, and then when I let her off the leash tonight to bring her in, I was waiting on another one. I won't call his name, but starts with an N. He looked at me. And you hear 2 scuffling. That's the 2 older ones, Bigsby and Sophie. So I let her off the leash, and I was trying to call him. I thought he'd come to the porch, and then he went back off the porch. So then she just goes off the porch, and she just goes on. Now, no amount of calling or anything will bring her back until she's ready to come back. So I come in, I brought them, I fed them, I crated the 2 littles because I thought, I've got to keep a check outside for her to come back. And so she finally came back, and yeah. So I fed her because it's not a situation where you can just put food down and leave it. This one won't allow it, and 1 or 2 or more of them will eat up everybody else's food and they'll be sick all night. So I have to measure the food. I have to put the 2 littles in a crate. I have to feed the mama over here. I have to feed the daddy over there. And she's usually over there in the corner at the food bowls. So I had to feed her after they'd all been fed. And so now it's time to let them run amok in the living room and see what that is. It looks like some sort of plastic or something that they found. No telling, no telling, no telling. Then I've got dishes I need to go wash. So I need to cut this video shorter because I've been on here almost, well, 25 and a half minutes, and I do apologize for rambling, but I wanted to show you what I've been working on and what my thought process is. Let me know what you think about the vest. I love the color, but I just don't think for him, I don't think he'll enjoy that. So, like I said, I'm gonna leave it for right now and just not do anything, not ravel, not do anything with it just yet, and then work on the blanket for Christmas. And then I laughed and told him and his friend last night, I said, everybody may get a picture Christmas Day, probably on my cell phone. I'll just show it, you know, this is what you've got coming. You have something coming. Here's the colors. I owe you this make. So I'm gonna hush for now. And I bid you a wonderful week. I hope everybody has a beautiful week. I told a couple of my fellow YouTubers this morning or today on emails that I need an extra couple of pair of hands for crocheting. So if I have any offers, get with me. I'll tell you where I'm at. You can come and help me crochet these projects. Remind me after Christmas that I've got to get busy. I say it every year. I declare it every year. And I'll start all gung-ho. At the first of the year, you know, I said I'm going to try to make so many projects a week. And I've done, most of the time I've done that. But see, mine are little projects like beanies, the little. And then I started the whole amigurumi thing. And so that went, you know, with doing axolotls and bees and whales and all the such. New word of the millennium from Luann. So I done well, but mine were little projects, like I said. If I could do fast crocheting, I'm not a fast crocheter. I wish I was. I've got a friend that lives in town. She says she starts the minute she gets up in the morning, she has her breakfast, she has her coffee, she does all that, and she crochets all day long till nighttime. She crochets while she watches TV, she crochets while she does this and that. She crochets all day and all night, but I can't do that. I have 5 besides myself that I'm responsible for, and it's just not feasible for me to do that much crocheting every day. Oh, I'd be a mess. In a Lulu dream, I'm a fast crocheter and I'll get all these projects done. So I'm gonna hold myself to it. I'm gonna be accountable, but just remind me after Christmas that I need to get busy making next year's Christmas gifts, and we'll go from there. We'll pray and hope for the best. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Come back for more Crochet with Lou with the 5 and all the excitement. It's showdown tonight. And I just wanted to say thank you for watching my videos. Thank you for commenting. I love reading your comments. And if I have missed any of your comments, please forgive me. Sometimes I don't know that I've received a comment. So I have to physically go back in and look at my comments. And I love seeing your comments. I'm just sorry that it's taken me so long to answer, because I do try as soon as I see them to answer. So thank you for joining me. And I'm sorry I've been rambling the last 30 minutes almost. Forgive me. You know the drill. You know me by now. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Do some fun things. Stay safe. And join me back next time for more excitement and chaos and big dreams. Bye-bye.